Go Cubbies. All right, guys. So this is actually my very first review video, and I absolutely love this show. It's a shame that I don't know how to pronounce this lady's name. No, Iyanla. I don't know how to say her name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. I love all of her shows. Like, they're just awesome. They're awesome. So this new one that is on is kind of a spinoff. She did one episode, not one, but she did several episodes. It might have been 4, with the angry black woman stereotype, and it's called The House of Healing. And she brought some African American men on, and now she's decided to kind of do a little spin to it, and she's doing 3 episodes with just the men. So this is a House of Healing for the men, and I think it's called Fixing the Black Man's Heart. I really love so far what's going on here. It really seems inspiring, and I really want my husband to watch it with me. She made some really great points, which she always does, right? She's just like this know-it-all. She's so profound, and it's awesome, man. It's just awesome just to listen to her sometimes. Other times, I kind of be wanting to tell her to be quiet, you know. But anyway, this episode was really about introducing the 6 men in the house. And I'm going to go through the guys and their ages and what seems to be the problem, and maybe some just issues that I'm going to cover that happened during the first episode. So the first guy that we have, that we introduce, we open it up, is Clarence. Clarence is 38, and he has been in and out of jail since he was 17. And in and out of jail, Lord have mercy, they showed all of these mug shots. They had about 1 million mug shots just flashing on the screen. This guy really has been in and out of jail since he was 17. It's a shame. I don't know what led to that type of lifestyle or whatever, or choices that he made, because they didn't really dig deep into his yet, but I feel like we're going to get there. So with him, his issue right now, what he's struggling with, is being able to have a stable environment and to be able to provide, probably to get a job, you know, just have a stable type of living. And which, rightly so, if you're in and out of jail, you have that instability. You don't have a resume. The only record you have is prison or jail. So I'm interested to find out a little bit more about Clarence's background. They didn't really touch on that too much on this first episode. He seemed like a really nice guy. He's very handsome, and that's all I really can say about Clarence, okay? Because they really didn't touch on him. So the next person that comes in a show would be Mike. You guys are probably very familiar with Michael Bass from Boyz II Men. He's 44. And he is dealing with some abandonment issues from the group, Boyz II Men. I almost feel like it's not just about Boyz II Men, though. He did talk about it was a huge chunk of his life. He spent 15 years with that group, and almost like every single day he was with them. I think he said 300 out of 365 days for 15 years. He made that group his life. And when he became ill, they just kind of kept going on without him. And he has a resentment towards them. That's really what it is. He has a resentment towards them. And I'm not really sure if that's the only issue with him, though. I feel like there's something else that's going to come out. There's going to be something else with him. I just feel like that. It feels like you mad at these guys only. I think it comes from some other source of abandonment or something else that's going on. But I'm sure Iyanla, Lord, she's going to uncover this. One thing that she did uncover, or she had him speak on, because he has never actually publicly said his illness to anyone. She had him come out and tell the group that he has MS. Now, you guys know how these shows go, and I can't stand it, Lord. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. Excuse me. What happened is they say, or Iyanla, She said, do you want to share with the group what your illness is? And then it goes to commercial break. God darn it. You know when they do that, that just... So anywho, in my mind, while the commercial's on, I'm like, oh, he finna tell us he got AIDS, he got HIV. Like, what is he going to say? That's what I thought it was. I thought, I don't even know why. But that's the first thing that came to my mind. But anyways, he comes back. He says he has MS, and he's been dealing with this for a long time. In his 20s, he was having issues. You know, on the stage, doing the tours and stuff like that, he was having issues. So I think he was looking for more support from his group members, maybe more empathy from them. But Iyanla, she said, you have to see things from another perspective, basically. There's another perspective, their perspective. If they didn't even know what he had, and they were all in their 20s at the same time, and they making money, they traveling, they're big, and all of this type of stuff, they're not thinking about this man having no illness. They're trying to continue on that joy ride, because when you have that much publicity and that much fame, you're on this joy ride. Now, one thing that Michael did mention towards the end, what he wants to conquer, something that he hopes to conquer, is basically humility. He is feeling that he is bigger than he really is. And Iyanla, she mentioned that can be the case when you have that type of notoriety and money and things like that. It can lead to having that type of feeling of being above everyone else. All right, so that's the deal with Mike Bass. All right, next guy is going to be Kevin. Kevin, younger guy, he's 30, and he's kind of a bad boy. You know, he was hanging with Chris Brown. Okay, bad boy, we get it, right? But he has aggression. He's a very aggressive behavior he's displaying. He has 2 children by 2 different women, and both of these mothers of his children either have currently or have at one point had restraining orders against him. So he has some issues there. He has some violent tendencies. He is a singer-songwriter. And one of his children's mother is Eva Pickford from America's Top Model. So something that I just found so interesting, and I'm just thinking this through, like Iyanla, she didn't mention this. It was just something that when I was watching it, I'm like, really, dude? So there's a part where Kevin and another member on the show now, his name is Tyrone, they kind of get into it. Kevin is kind of going in saying like this guy Tyrone is acting like a girl, a female, and he's soft, he weak. And then he goes, where are you from? And the guy Tyrone is like, you know, he's from whatever part of California. And I just felt like that was unnecessary. I felt like Kevin was like, what? You're 30. Grow up. You're being very immature talking about where you from. Like, where you from, cuz? Someone said something like this. It was just stupid. It was silly that he even said that, because you guys are all grown men, but I figured out what it was. Towards the end of this episode, Iyanla, y'all forgive me, because I really don't know how to say her name. I know I feel like I'm saying it wrong. It just doesn't sound right, but I cannot get a name right. But anyways, towards the end of the show, she's talking to him, and it is discovered, or uncovered, I should say, that the relationship with his dad has led to his aggressive behavior and violent behavior, because he always wanted to prove himself to his father as not being weak. And it was very funny that in that argument back and forth with this other member, Tyrone, that he's calling Tyrone weak. He's calling him a female. He's, trying to taunt him and make himself feel bigger than this guy. He's beating Tyrone down, and he's a verbal abuser. That's what he is. And he does that to anyone that he thinks is weak, because he's the one who's insecure about being weak. So that one was really, really that was something that really stood out in my mind about Kevin and his behavior. So we're getting to know him a little bit more in his background and what's really going on with him. Next guy is Michelangelo. We've seen Michelangelo before. He is 46. I think he is the oldest member on the show. Yep. Because Mike is 44. Mike Bass is 44. So Michelangelo is 46. His issue is feeling out of place. And if you guys recall, if you watched the previous episodes for the House of Healing with the Women, he made mention of African-American women not really accepting him, and that's why he always dated white women, because he dresses different, he listens to different music, he knows how to play different instruments, and it was kind of all about him, to be honest with you. I'm like, Michelangelo, that's why women not feeling you. It might not just be black women. People just not feeling you because it seems like you feeling yourself too much. That's what I was thinking. But anywho, he's dealing with being out of place. And I think his issue is he doesn't know who he is. And that might be what is the issue with other people liking him, because they don't know who to like. Who are you? Who are you? So we didn't spend too much time with Michelangelo. But I know that we probably will come back to him at a later point. The next one is Tyrone. Now, Tyrone is, again, he's been on the show. And that's kind of what him and Kevin got into it about, because Tyrone was speaking on the situation with Lyra, which was a female from the previous show. He was speaking on that situation, and Kevin was saying he was talking too much, and you know, but Tyrone, I'm not really sure what to think of, what I'm going with Tyrone. I just don't feel like this title or this what they're putting underneath him. They put the word habitual cheater underneath him. He's 29, so he's the youngest on the show. I just don't think that that's his real. That might be one of the things that he does. It just seems like there's something. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you, sweet pea. I just feel like it's something else with Tyrone, and I'm not sure what it is. I almost feel like Tyrone's issue is the same as Michelangelo's, feeling out of place, not really knowing who he is. And I'm going to tell you why. So, in the previous episode with the women, Tyrone said his issue when he had to sit in front of, I forgot the female name, but I know one was Lyra and the other one was the other girl that I don't even know why she was on the show. But anyway, he said something to the effect of black women always buying all this stuff, and they want a man that's popping, da-da-da-da-da. And that's when Lyra said, I pop my own bottles. And it didn't even make no sense why she said that. But anyway, so I think he doesn't feel like he's enough. I think he is also feeling exactly what Michelangelo is feeling. They feel like they're not enough. When they do have enough to offer anyone, but they don't feel it in themselves. So I think Ivana, whatever, I think she mentioned something about immaturity, him being immature. And the immature is probably she's coming from, again, she mentioned that he's immature. And I think that has something to do with the habitual cheater part with him. And that plays into that stereotype that black men are dogs. They're not faithful. 2 or 3, 4 or 5 different women. That kind of plays into that playboy type of stereotype that they have. The last guy is Terrence. Mr. Terrence. He is, Jesus. Okay, y'all still there? Okay, y'all there. So Terrence is 39. And he is the father of Lyra. Now, Lyra is 22, which means that Terrence had her at 17, I guess. So he was a young father. Well, I'm sure her mother was young as well, and she kept her child, and she raised her child. But he abandoned his daughter, and just off the bat, there were some things about Mr. Terrence that showed he didn't want to be there. I don't even know why he came on the show. So far, I don't know. There was one point, one scene at the beginning where all the guys were sitting on the couch, or the couches, because it was two. And Terrence had his arms crossed, and no one else had their arms crossed. All the other men, is 6 men total. So all the 5 of the other men had their arms, uncrossed. He's the only one with his arms crossed. Miss Iyanla hands out this paper to let them know what the house rules are, and he's looking all crazy with his mouth wide open, because there's one rule on there that says that they have to have scheduled times to talk on the phone or some jazz like that. And Iyanla wanted to know, is there a problem? Like, what's going on? What's the problem? And he brought forth that issue. Well, he also mentioned that he has been in and out of jail. And he just really wanted to tell him, this is not about you, and it's not about Lyra. It's about you. That's about getting to the root of the problem of you. And then you can fix your relationship with your daughter. But you're not here for Lyra. So anyways, he just seemed very resistant from the moment he got in there. He just seemed very resistant. Now, there's some things that happened on this episode, and I just wanted to scream. Terrence was really driving me up a wall, like a WALL. I just wanted to go through the screen and pull him by his ear. But let me tell y'all what he did. So, first of all, there's some major issues going on with him. And I'm not even talking about the part where she said something about he was uncomfortable because he couldn't see. He's partially blind, or something like that. That is a handicap, I guess you would say. So there might be some issues along that. But this man, when I tell you, is as cold as ice. But there's some major issues that are going on here. He says, I have no friends. It's just me and my family and blah, 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 blah. And that's all, blah, 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 blah. Then his wife calls him, and you can hear her talking. Why you not answering your phone? Yada, yada, yada. She never wanted him to go. But let me tell, this is my own personal opinion. So if you get mad, you get mad. I'm sorry. My personal opinion is, anytime a woman will allow a man to come in and take care of some kids that aren't his, and she sees that he's not taking care of his own, that's not a man that you want. And that's not a woman that you want. Okay? That's not. Because how can you think that he's going to be there for your children, even if they're his, but he hasn't been there for his other flesh and blood? That's not good. That's not a good sign. Those two people are both broken. The message that she left, Iyanla played it for him. And this lady was going in. This is his wife. She's going in saying that he's not coming back to her because he's on a show. He doing something for his daughter that he's never done anything for. She's mad now. But look, you've had all this time with this man. Your children have had time with this man in the same household. But he has a child out there. She's still a child, 22, that he has not raised. He has not spent the quality time with. If he's been in and out of jail. Is she on a pole? He has not spent the quality time with her. So you mad because he on the show and he not answering the phone? Now talking about his 5-year-old daughter gonna be the same as Lyra, not know her dad? That is nutty. Nutty, nutty, nutty. Now this is a Caucasian woman. It doesn't matter, because you'll find black women who will do the same thing. But that's not a good person. What good person would, number one, allow you not to spend time with your own child? She wouldn't do that with her own. She wanted him there with hers. It's just not a good person. Not a good person. But what Iyanla said is, it speaks mountains on who you picked as your wife. As your wife. A woman like that. That just told me she don't care about Lyra at all. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be with somebody who don't care about my child. Anyway, so Terrence has a major issue. He has some major problems. He threatened already on the first episode to leave about 10 times. And at this point, I just want to say, look, Terrence, can I drive you home? I'm just getting tired of him already. First episode. So we already know it's going to be some drama with him. But let me just say this. Doesn't Lyra look exactly like her dad? Looks exactly like him. He cannot deny that one at all. But that is where we're at with the first episode. It is really interesting, and I think that is going to get better, and I hope that these men heal from this and they learn from this just like the women did, because I gained a lot from the episodes with the women, and it helped me on different levels on how to heal some of the anger that I have. So, anywho, I will see you guys later for Mommy's Reviews, just for adults. Next Monday, I'll go over, or maybe Sunday, I'll go over the next episode of this show. Okay? Yeah, don't talk about my braids now. You know, I tried to crochet me some braids up in here. They doing the best that they can. I'm doing the best that I can. I can't talk. I don't know how to pronounce the lady's name. I'm just struggling. I'm just struggling, y'all. I'm struggling. All right. Well, y'all have a good one.